Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality with Michael Cole, the podcast that shines a compassionate light on the journey of veterans battling through life's challenges. Michael is a dual elite certified neuroencoding specialist in coaching and keynote training presentations, dedicated to guiding military veterans as they navigate the intricate pathways of post-deployment life. Join him as we delve into the profound realm of neuroencoding science, empowering these brave individuals to conquer universal battles, procrastination, self-doubt, fear, and more. Together, let's uncover the strength within you to re-engage with families and society, forging a new path forward.
Hello, everybody. So today we have Andrew Houghton on our show, again as a return guest. Dual elite neuroencoding specialist, mindset life coach, founder of the Extraordinary Men's Network. Should I keep going? Jeez, yes. English language professor with 14 years of experience in Seoul, South Korea, expert in helping middle-aged men overcome life's challenges. So, Andrew, glad to have you on. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Thank you for having me back, Michael.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I was, as you were introducing me, it was just kind of blowing my own mind again about how long I've been living in South Korea. It's actually been 21 years since I left. 2003, I graduated university and then went traveling. So it's been 21 years this year. And yeah, I grew up here, basically. I've almost lived here longer than I lived in the UK.
How old were you when you moved there?
I was 23 years old.
Yeah, got it. So yeah, you did grow up there.
And I've been in Korea longer than my students now. So my freshmen, when my freshman students come in and they say, when did you come to Korea? They weren't even born. So that's
Yep. It's kind of like when you're filling out one of those documents, they ask what year you were born, and you have to like spin it like a dial.
Yeah, it gets long. Further back, further back. All the age brackets, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Like I'm almost nudging into that next age bracket, but it's cool. I like it. I enjoy it. It's like collecting. I don't know. I like collecting things, I guess. So collecting years, collecting experiences.
Amen. So. That's what life's about, man. Exactly. I love it. Hey, so before we get started really quick, I just want to remind everybody the top right-hand corner, I always point the wrong way, the top right-hand corner, there's a QR code, blue QR code. I scan that, takes us to Empower. There you go. Thank you, Andrew. To empowerperformancestrategies.com. Again, that's empowerperformancestrategies.com for people listening on the podcast forums later on. So lots of resources for veterans, some books I've written. There's some Facebook groups. Get involved. Get in with us so we can further our mission. So,
awesome. Michael, you've written books. I know this is about I'm the guest, but Michael, you've written books.
I have. I've written 2 books.
Wow.
I've written one for veterans to help them get further faster, and then I've also written one for the families.
That's beautiful.
I have.
Oh, congratulations, Michael. I had no idea.
Thank you. Please continue. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
I hadn't got there yet.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about look, we're having way too much fun already. Okay. Way too much fun already. I love it. So Andrew, share with us how you got into neuroencoding and what kind of brought you into this life, if you will, and what you do now.
Well, yeah. So as I said, I've been in Korea since 2003, and pretty much the first 17 years of that time was a blur, mainly because I was, quote, enjoying life, shall we say. I was a professor. I started there in 2010 and got my professorship, if you like. Did my master's degree actually after starting my job, which is unusual. Most people do that before. However, there was a dark underbelly to that time in my life because I was an active alcoholic, and I consider myself very lucky to have that situation in my life because I needed to go through that to get to this, as we say.
Amen.
And I'm also very fortunate and grateful for the grace that I maintained my job. I've kept some good friends and the support of my family. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have joined neuroencoding, because it was through a coach and a therapist that basically said, if you don't make some changes in your life, you're not going to really be able to understand yourself. And if you don't understand yourself, you'll not be able to break through these negative habits of, self-sabotage and limiting beliefs you've created for yourself. Because a lot of what I was going through was, in a sense, a fantasy that I created. The world's against me. I don't pour me another drink kind of thing. And
it's interesting, Andrew, how and I have not the same story, but a similar pattern, right? And it's really interesting how, thank God we did go through those things, because it made us the men we are today, right? So it's really interesting how you see that similar patterns, though. I have a moth in the studio.
I have some mosquitoes, and I'm really trying not to, look like the crazy guy in the camera going.
No, totally. I don't care. Judge away. I don't care. I'll be the crazy guy. I'll get more views. I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
It'll further the military vision here. They're for the veterans.
Right.
I'll be that guy. So,
Well,
so I just want to make a point really quick, and thank you for the vulnerability first, Andrew. It's not easy to talk about those things, but if we don't go through them, we don't become the people that we are now, right? Because it's very easy to sit there and blame everybody else and take another drink or do another drug or binge watch TV or any of those things that we do as human beings. So really, really appreciate you, being vulnerable.
yeah, and it wasn't easy, but it's much easier now because I have my sobriety chips to prove my hard work. It wasn't so easy to say 3 years ago, and there's a lot of mainly because of denial, but I worked through that, and now I even mention it in my classes with my university students, because it is now a source of pride. It is now a source of energy, and it really helps me to connect with people. To when you have something that that can never be taken away from me, right? I stood up and said, this is a problem I have and I need to fix it, and then I went, and then we say, I'm in recovery. I feel pretty recovered, shall we say? But life is an ongoing journey. I'm a work in progress, and it is, we need our due diligence every day to, just make sure we keep moving forward. Because as one of my inspiration for personal development, Tony Robbins, says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So
Amen.
I always, on daily basis, do the small stuff to keep getting better.
Absolutely. Take one step further, man. Hey, so why neuroencoding?
Because of your 50th guest, Joseph McClendon III. When I saw him for the first time, it rocked my world. His energy, his magnetism, his magnificence. We were there at his 70th birthday. We were there at his 70th birthday, just hanging out, right?
Just hanging out.
Just celebrating. It was our graduation too. But and he's just an incredible human being with a huge heart, and it inspired me to want to do what he does. The way he interrupted my patterns, that now I know what the terminology is, but got me to be aware of my limiting beliefs and believe that it's possible to change how I feel and how I behave, and then the results that come from those behaviors. I'm like, I want to learn from this guy. And when the opportunity came up to sign up for his institute and learn from him and his amazing team, I grabbed it with both hands. And
it's an amazing family.
Been full throttle ever since. Yeah. 2 years.
Andrew, what time is it there in South Korea?
It is 5:18 a.m., sir.
So everybody, I just want to thank you, Andrew, for being up, because this guy not only, I'm just gonna praise you for a minute, all right? So just bear with me. This guy has a young daughter. Do you have two? Yeah, I know you have a newborn though. Yes. Oh, look at this.
I got my 3-year-old and
Great. Oh,
my
got it.
3-month-year-old and
Yeah.
my 17-year-old.
And this guy is working at not only in an educational institution, right? You're doing this just to try to help people and get people further faster, and the studying and all the things. I know we're both doing more education as well. We always do. So I just want to commend you for the drive that you have. Even when it's tough, you're still getting up and doing it. So thank you for that. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's very yeah, it's touching. It isn't always, it's rarely easy, I'll say, to be honest. But when you have motivation, like my family, my amazing wife, who has supported me through thick and thin, through a lot of thin, when the times were really tough, when I was on the floor in a mess, we had I created some terrible circumstances for us, and she stuck through it and supported me and believed in me. And when I wanted to get help, she supported me. She absolutely agreed, and obviously. And then when I wanted to help other people, she was on board with that too. And she saw, she saw something, and I'm glad she did. And, just to be clear, like, we're talking about time, 21 years in Korea, and as I said, like 17 of that, I was just a crap show, basically. Trying to use nice words, but it was a complete mess, man. Like, and then I met her, and I was kind of at my peak, really. But thank God I had just enough to show her some light, I suppose, that she could see, like a crack, if you like, in the darkness. That she saw that light and stuck with me. And now, at that time, all I had was my job, literally, and a couple of friends. And then I met her 4 years later, 3 kids, nice home in a nice area of town with great schools and the care we need for our children. And yeah, I'm so grateful for what has been, manifested.
Amen. And you're just getting started, buddy. You're just getting started.
Yeah, just getting started. Absolutely.
So let me ask you, as far, I know we're going to talk about cultural differences and that kind of stuff for yourself, and this is, I'm sure you're going to pull some experiences, as well as for veterans facing transition, coming home, all those things. So if you can, what are some cultural differences that you ran into that you think would translate into maybe a veteran coming home after transition and kind of engaging in life again?
Yeah. It's culture for me. So I was going to mention culture shock. There's a couple of things that came to my mind: identity and culture shock. And the culture shock is interesting because it's actually reverse culture shock. Right? You'd think the culture shock would happen when you joined the military, right? When everything you knew kind of faded away. Or for me, when I left the UK, the British world, and moved to South Korea, right? And it's like, oh, where am I? What is this strange new world I'm in? And I thought that would be the culture shock, but it wasn't. It was just like, this is where I am now, and it's like you just kind of maybe it's the newness of everything, and that it you don't notice. There's it's a strange phenomenon that it was very comfortable and easy to start the new life. It's like you can let go of it. It's when you go back, and I guess this is what interested me with your topic of veterans transitioning back to civilian life, in the sense that that's when the culture shock kicks in. When you go back to the familiar, but you're not the same anymore.
Yeah. And if I can, if I can, I think there's, depending on the mindset, when you join the military, there can definitely be shock. There
Sure.
could be a culture shock there for sure. But I think, nowadays most military are joining because they're more purpose driven. They want to have a purpose. They want to join something. All of those things. Where it's not, drafting like it was, the draft like it was before, drafting like we're playing football,
Yeah, yeah,
draft
yeah,
like it was before. But I think there's probably, some still culture shock once you're actually there. But I love the idea. What you're talking about is when you get out as well.
yeah.
I think there may be a double culture shock a little bit there.
Yeah, forgive me if I meant if I yeah, I didn't mean it to be a blanket statement.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. We're just talking, man.
Yeah, I forget that I've been here so long, and I've met hundreds of people who didn't last, more than a few days or weeks because of that. They did have the culture shock when they arrived, and I forget that I'm surrounded. Everyone I know is what we call a lifer, right? We're
Got
gonna
it.
be here. We're gonna be here forever. We're part of the furniture now in South Korea.
So when you first went there, Andrew, did you just felt more comfortable than you expected then?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's
Why do
what
you
you
think that was?
like you said, purpose driven. I
Mhm,
wanted to be there.
mhm.
I knew it was going to be different. I wanted something different. I liked that I could be a new person here. Like nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
They didn't have any expectation. They accepted what they saw and what I told them, kind of. So I think that's why I didn't have any problem. I didn't really miss home. I was excited to see all the new things. So
So a lot of mindset, I would think, because you were
I didn't
excited
know it
about.
then, but yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't that you were going, "Oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why am I here? I don't speak the language." I'm assuming, I don't know. Did you speak the language when you first went there?
Heck
I think
no.
not, right?
No offense to to your huge South Korean audience. I'm sure you have. um,
Not
I
yet.
I didn't know where it was. I didn't know where I was going,
Yeah.
even though just like 10 months prior, I was watching the World Cup. Again, soccer, not huge, not that big in America, but Korea Japan hosted the 2002 World Cup. So even though I just watched that, I wasn't 100% sure where I was going. I knew it was East Asia. I knew it was near Japan, and yeah, I was just like, let's get out of the UK. Let's do something different.
Excellent. So you had the culture shock to some extent because it was totally different. Didn't speak the language, all those things. But your mindset, and I really want to focus on this just for
Mm-hmm.
a second, your mindset of it wasn't anxious, anxiety, stress. It was excitement and
Yeah.
what I call anticipated excitement. I teach my clients that's different from being anxious and stressed out and all those things because you're
Mm-hmm.
actually excited about it and it feels the same in your body. That little butterflies in the stomach or
Yep.
whatever the case may be, it's exactly the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how I mean, the average person would be going, "What the hell am I doing?" But because you were starting fresh and you had that right mindset, you just went over there and just absorbed it and moved forward. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I do the same thing with my clients too. If you analyze how you're really feeling, if you take two situations and say, okay, this is you were nervous here, you were excited here. Was there really any difference in the danger or in the threat or in the the potential outcomes? Like no, no. So really, you're just choosing to feel nervous about this because the reasons, and you're choosing to be excited. So in an ideal world, which one would you prefer? I'd rather be excited. Heck yeah, I would. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
you definitely have control over that for sure.
Yeah. So the culture shock then, to some extent, would play the same vice versa, right? So when you're going home or whatever the case may be, it
Mhm.
just depends
Yeah.
on that mindset. So tell me, if you will. So you've been, I know you've been to the United States. I'm assuming you've been home as well to the UK.
Oh yeah, yes. I go home at least once a year. I would say I've been home twice a year for the last 10 years. Yeah, I
And
go
so,
home regularly. Yeah.
and then do you feel culture shock when you're going back there? It sounds like from what you
Not
said
s-
earlier,
not
a
not
little
so
bit.
much these days.
Okay.
It as I progressed in my job and I got more vacation time,
Mhm.
it's become more normal, and I've learned what to expect. So
Mhm.
there's some comfort now in going back to the familiar, but at
Mhm.
first it and I think it even took me a couple of trips home to realize why I was so uncomfortable and just not at ease when I was at home, and it was the different culture. I changed, and I had an expectation that things around that people around me would change, but they hadn't,
Yeah.
and they didn't know what I'd been through, and I wasn't comfortable with the questions they were asking me and the expectations they had of me. I think that
I'm glad you said
threw me
this
off.
because it brings us to a really cool thought, if you will. It's exact same pattern that our military, our veterans are coming back. They are different people. People don't know who they are, and vice versa anymore. Family members, when I'm saying people, I should be more specific. And there's always the honeymoon period, right? You got that 2 weeks, 1 week, 1 day, just depends on the person and their mindset of I'm back, woohoo! Okay, now what? Then life sets in. So, what are some of the skills that maybe you used during that time period, or when you go back, or back, in the past, when you go back to kind of reset yourself and get you back in the right mindset?
Yeah. So one of the programs that I use with my clients who struggle with identity and self-confidence is a part of it. Self-esteem is, you might be familiar with that acronym, CTFO,
Go ahead. Yeah.
chill the freak out, right? And
Nice
it's
cleanup
not,
on that one.
well, so bear with me. The freak is the voice in your head that is panicking, that is feeling out of place. And I often liken them to gremlins, if you show my age a little bit, but the movie Gremlins, and these gremlins, or these,
Oh no, not you
you
too.
see it? Did you
Dude,
see that?
it went through the network.
They live in your head, and they say things and emit feelings into your body that don't serve you. And you need to chill them out. You chill them out by calling them out, by acknowledging them. So when I hear that little voice in my head going, these guys don't respect you. They don't value what you've been through. Like, Andrew, you're doing it again. You're letting the freak control you. Chill it out. Look up, take a deep breath, put a smile on my face, and then get back to the conversation with a fresh perspective on things. That this is the way things are at this moment, and it's perfect. They're living their life, you're living your life, and there's no disrespect meant. There's harmony here. Let it.
Yeah, my friend, our and mentor, Vinu Keller, amazing instructor, and again a friend. She talks about naming that person.
Mm-hmm.
Name it whatever you want, so you can tell it, chill the out, and use its name because it actually differentiates and helps you snap out of it faster. It's pretty neat. So,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. So when you come back, you kind of have that conversation with yourself then to snap yourself out and do a
Yep.
part, stop technique kind of thing, and so on. Are there any other things that you use when you're in that mode of where the hell am I culturally? It's totally different, and I just need to reset myself, breathe, and get back on track because everything's fine. It's just different.
Yeah.
And I know we're going totally off all the questions that that I sent you, but I just wanted organic conversation. So, please.
Yeah, patience, and these are not neuroencoding. These are just, virtues that I try to live with for being the best version of myself. So, having integrity for myself, but for others too.
I love it.
Practicing patience for myself and others, because I'm the one who's generally, as we talked about, like the difference between who's changed and who hasn't, like we've all changed. It's just I didn't notice them changing, and they didn't notice me changing.
Right.
And having the patience to know that they're struggling just as much as I am, probably, if there's struggle at all. Like, in reality, there is no struggle. There's just this perfect moment in time where you have a choice to make between panic and pleasure, or nervousness and excitement, right?
Right.
So choose the better. We have a pattern: think, feel, do, have, right?
Mhm.
And when I feel those feelings of panic, or even worse, like disrespect or something like that, I go back to, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? I'm thinking that this person doesn't get me, or maybe they do get me, like, it's amazing, the older I get and the conversations I have with my parents, that they get me way more than I ever thought they did.
Right.
And I get them, I understand them more too. So having the patience to say, this is okay, and I'm okay, and they're probably wishing the best for me as much as I'm wishing the best for them. And then honesty, to be honest and say, I'm having a hard time here. Like, this is new, this is uncomfortable, and I need a moment. And they're fine with that, right? Like, the you there's some strange mental blockage going on where you think, like, well, if I tell them that I'm scared, if I tell them that I'm having a hard time, that there's going to be judgment, that they're going to think less of you.
Yeah.
These are the closest people in your life. They love you and they just want the best for you. So
It's that stigma, that's there of it's not okay to say I need
I'm
help.
I'm, I'm not okay.
I need a second. I just need someone to be present, hold space for me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
here's the crazy thing, if I can, is like your parents, and
Mhm.
I'm using them for because we were just talking about it, right? How much would they love to hold that space for you and be there for you? And that's what we forget, whether we're
Mhm.
veterans or just humans in general. We forget how amazing it feels for the other people to be there for, and how
Absolutely,
that
absolutely.
really changes it.
Yeah. A,
It-
a big part of the work I do with my clients is we call them quality questions, but it's getting people to think from a new perspective. Like, we develop these very rigid points of view on things,
Mhm.
where, like, the way that someone's judging me. Whereas if I look at it from another point of view, multiple angles, you can see that they're probably worried about you, and their worry gets expressed in various ways. And what you're interpreting as judgment, criticism, is worry and concern. Who is your biggest cheerleader in your life? Who has been the big cheerleader for you in your life, Michael?
My wife, my family, different family members, but my wife hands down.
Yeah. Why would and have you ever caught yourself thinking she's judging you,
Yeah,
and yet
sure.
she's your biggest cheerleader? Why would she judge you? Right?
I
Like,
know.
you got to ask yourself these. So asking yourself, taking a time, taking a deep breath, asking yourself these quality questions, and realizing that really you're misinterpreting what's going on. And oh, they do have my best interests at heart, and they are my biggest cheerleader, and I do love this person, and they love me, and everything's going to be okay.
Absolutely.
It allows you to shift how you think about the situation, which changes how you feel, which changes what you do, which ultimately changes your whole experience. So
Yes. Absolutely. Fantastic, man. Hey, so guess what? We're at the end of the show.
already, man, oh, we got like 12 more questions to go.
I didn't even ask any of the questions. I love just organic conversation. So, Andrew, I am going to ask now though, because I always do at the end of the show. First of all, how do people reach out to you to get a hold of you?
Yep. Just my name, Andrew Michael Houghton, on Facebook. And that will also lead to Extraordinary Men's Network, which is the Facebook community that I've created for support for men to support one another. You might also find a link to OG Coach, but that's yeah, you'll find that if you need that. But Andrew Michael Houghton on Facebook, Extraordinary Men's Network also on Facebook.
Excellent, excellent. So, the last thing is 3 tips to get veterans further faster, and their families, of course.
3 tips.
Yep.
Listen more, speak less, be patient, and engage more. Don't hide away, right? Engage with the people you're with, be patient with yourself and others, and listen more.
Yeah, love those. Love all three of those. It is so important to put that in everyday life. Thank you for those tips, man.
Thank
So
you for
everybody,
listening, Michael.
thank you. Yeah. So I want to just thank you again. Most precious resource we have as human beings is time. We don't get it back. So thank you, Andrew, again for coming back on and sharing some more thoughts and great tips. So appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I love what you do, Michael. You're a beautiful person, and I'm grateful that you give me a second opportunity to be on your show. It's an amazing thing you're doing. So thank you very much.
I appreciate that, man. There's so many people out there hurting. There are veterans, human beings in general in the world, and what we do is so vital, especially with neuroencoding, to be able to help people default back to their best selves when they're struggling is just a beautiful thing. So until my last breath, you'll see me out here doing something.
Smiling.
So, yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody. So thank you again, Andrew, and we are out of here.
Stay extraordinary.
Thank you for joining us on another insightful journey of Your Thoughts, Your Reality podcast with your host, Michael Cole. We hope the conversation sparked some thoughts that resonate with you. To dive deeper into empowering your thoughts and enhancing your reality, visit empowerperformancestrategies.com. Remember, your thoughts shape your reality, so make them count. Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating the reality you desire. Catch you on the next episode.